Evening. Today is Chof Adar. We're still in. Today we're going to finish in Mitzrayim Perek Lamed Hey, Daf Mem Hey, page 89. Okay, that's where we're starting. V'av Shemahuso, V'atzmuso Shel Nefesh HaBahamis, Shebelibo, even though the essence of the animalistic soul that's in your heart. We already learned that the animalistic soul that resides on the left side of the heart, Shehen Midoseya Haroyim. That's where the bad midos come from. The good midos come from the right side of the heart. The bad midos of the person comes from the left side of the heart. Adain lo nichlalu b'kedusha. Meaning, we said already, when you daven and learn and speak divrei kedusha, divrei Torah, divrei tefillah, it's only taking the highest part of you. When you do mitzvahs, it's taking even your physical part of you. It's elevating. But it says, however, your essence of your nefesh habahamis, which is the bad midas, they don't become holy. Lo nichlalu b'kedusha. It doesn't become part of kedusha. It doesn't become nullified, become part of kedusha. Mikol mokim. However, me'achar the iskafian l'kedusha, since it's being subjugated to kedusha, ubal korchon oinim omen umaskimin umisratzim l'asos hamitzvah. So the Alter Rebbe brings over here the Rebbe Maharash Medayek in this piece of the Tanya. The Alter Rebbe is saying over here three languages. Number one, when you subjugate your nefesh habahamis and you do mitzvahs. So he says the first lashon of Baal Korchon Oinin Amen. The fourthly, the nefesh habahamis is saying Amen. That's one level. Meaning, sometimes the nefesh habahamis don't want to do it, don't want to put tefillin, and you're saying no, you're gonna put tefillin today, and you're forcing yourself to do it. So basically, you forced now the nefesh habahamis to put tefillin, and the nefesh habahamis says Amen. Okay, you did it. Okay. What can I do? You forced me. That's one level. The second level, humaskimin. Sometimes it doesn't go such a big opposition from the nefesh habahamis, from the animalistic soul. And says, so you know what? Okay, when I put tefillin, okay, I'm going to go with that today. Maskimin, agreeing to do it. Then there is a third level, which is the highest level, humisratzin. Not only the animalistic soul saying, I don't want, or I'm okay. No, he says, I want it too. You want to put tefillin on me? Here's my. I'm sure you got such a thing by when going from Ifsoim, the Chabad boys going to put tefillin on others. They probably have this three levels. Some saying, no, I don't want to put it. Say, no, but you Jew, you have to do it. Okay, that's Val Korcha. Then some saying, okay, you want to put it in, okay, here. Then some Misratzim, the third level. Yeah, sure, I want to do it. That's the Tel Nefesh HaBahamis. That's sometimes you have to force the Nefesh HaBahamis, and sometimes the Nefesh HaBahamis says, I'm okay with it, and sometimes the nation say, yeah, I want to do it. So that's the three levels, yeah. He says, Misratzim lasiyas mitzvah day is gabrus nafsho eloki, because right now, at that moment you do the mitzvah, you have this gabrus, your nefesh elokis becomes stronger over the nefesh habahamis. This gabrus nafsho elokis shebemoyach, the headquarters of the godly soul that resides in the brain, sheshoilet alalev, that has control over the heart. As we said in Perek Yud Beis, we brought from the Zohar that the person by nature born with that nature of moyach sholit alalev. The mind controls the heart. Unless God forbid a Rasha that losing this ability, but otherwise a Beinan is not a Rasha. By him, he has constant fight between the heart and the mind, and over here the mind rules over the heart and tells, no, we're going to do the mitzvah. And in that moment, golus b'sheina kanal, meaning the nefesh habahamis is in that moment going to exile or to a sleep. So the Rebbe of here Medayek two lashonos also golus. The Sheina. The Sheina goes on the Nefesh HaBahamis. At that moment, the Nefesh HaBahamis is fighting, it's going to sleep. You could do what you need to do with your nefesh elokis. Golus goes on the levushim, on the garments of the soul of the animalistic soul. What's the garments of the animalistic soul? Machshava, dibur, u'maaseh, thought, speech, and action. That moment when you do your learning, that you do it with your thought and with your speech, or when you do ma'aseh mitzvahs, you put tefillin or b'chadoime or similar to it. Then you take the garment of action and you're using it for kedusha. So basically, the garments on their own merit of nefesh habahamis, thought and speech of animalism, don't want to be doing mitzvahs, learning Torah. They want to enjoy life. So that moment they go into golus. I mean, golus meaning I'm doing something. I'm in prison. I'm doing not what I want, what my boss nefesh elokis wants, the godly soul wants. So that's what the Rebbe Medayek. That means of your golus v'sheino. Sheino goes on the animalistic soul right now. When I'm doing a mitzvah, it's going to sleep. And the garments of machshava, dibur, ma'aseh, especially we're talking about ma'aseh mitzvahs, the ma'aseh going into golus, meaning he's doing something he doesn't want to do. Like I said, there's 3 levels of that. Either you have to force it, either you have to say, okay, either he says, I want it, but even I want it, meaning just for the moment, I'm okay with it and I want it. Normally, it's a golus for the habit of nefesh habahamis, for the levushim of the golus. The habit of nefesh habahamis is doing physical, materialistic, not mitzvahs. So, upon him, when you conquer the nefesh habahamis, yeah, he says, by the way, he mentioned of your canal. What he says, in that moment, that the nefesh habahamis and the garments of nefesh habahamis, golus v'sheino canal, as mentioned before. What did he mention this already before? In Perek Yud Gimel, the Alter Rebbe spoke about over there, when we spoke about the Alter Rebbe writes in the Tanya generally about 3 levels of Beinanim. As we said, from Perek Yud Beis all the way till somewhere beginning of Tezayin, he speaks about the highest level of a Beinani, that during davening is davening so well, and Alter Rebbe Perek Yud Gimel saying over there that he is able to put his nefesh habahamis, his animalistic soul, to sleep. He's comatizing him. He's comatizing. The nefesh habahamis doesn't disturb him. Meaning, during davening, he's not tivus. I want to make money. I want to eat something good. I want to have pleasures of Elamaz. He doesn't even want it. Why? Because the nefesh is sleeping now. The nefesh habahamis doesn't have any suggestion from anything materialistic. All kol kuloi, or operating, functioning in the in that level of tefillah is nefesh elokis, godly soul. So that's what he says. In asiyas mitzvahs, you also have that level. You're comatizing the nefesh habahamis. Then it doesn't disturb you now. You have a green light. Go ahead, do it. Whatever you do with godly soul, the nefesh habahamis doesn't disturb you. Then he says, and because of that, and nothing prevents nothing prevents from the Shechina resting upon the body of the person. Because normally, as we said, why the Shechina doesn't rest somewhere on somebody? Because it's not bottled to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And the Shechina shoyra el masha bottled etzla. The Shechina does not rest only in a place which is nullified to the Shechina. The Guf normally it's not nullified to the Shechina. The Guf is actively what do the things that are not consistent with Kedusha. It's a materialistic and physical thing. But when you do the mitzvahs, and that moment, you like putting the nefesh habahamis into a coma or to a sleep, Memela, the nefesh habahamis doesn't disturb anything, and Memela, you are now bottled to Hashem through doing mitzvah. Yeah, you and your goof is bottled to Hashem doing the mitzvah. Memela, there's nothing preventing the Shekhinah resting upon you. Memela says, that moment of doing a mitzvah, the Shekhinah rests upon the person. The Hainu, shekoyach nefesh achiyunis amelubashes amelubash basiyas mitzvah. The koyach of nefesh achiyunis, the nefesh, the animalistic soul. You use now the animalistic soul, your body, yeah. Amelubash basiyas mitzvah. That's right now you're doing the mitzvah. You're doing it with your physical body, with your animalistic soul, and that and that koyach and that physical partnership between your godly soul and the animalistic soul and the body. Yeah, that's what he says. I'm lubash plus a mitzvah. Unichlal mamash beoir havaya umyuchad bo biyuchad gomer. The goof right now connects in the light of Hashem and become one thing with Hashem. So it comes out during Asiyas mitzvah, you're not only taking your highest part of you, which is thought and speech, also the goof, the physical goof. That's what we could only accomplish with mitzvahs mitzvahs. That the kedusha of Hashem going to the lowest part of us, which is the most physical part of us. Because right now, the Nefesh Abam it's okay you're doing the mitzvah. Mele, it's in that moment with the Asiyas mitzvah, doing a mitzvah, you're nullifying yourself to Hashem, you're doing His will as a servant does to his master, and then the Mele, that's why the Shekhinah rests upon you. By this, Mamshich Ora Lechlolus Nefesh Achayunis Shebechol Aguf, meaning even though you do the mitzvah, let's say just with your hand, you put in tefillin, yeah. But he says through that you mamshich, he says, a light to the whole entire body and the Torah to the whole entire animalistic soul. Al nefesh shebechol haguf v'gam al haguf hagashmi b'vchinas makif milamayla miroishoy v'ad raglo. Meaning b'vchinas makif, meaning it's not really penetrating inside, because if that would penetrate deeply inside all the way, you would become a holy man. You're completely holy, and the more mitzvahs you do, you want to become a very, very holy. You wouldn't be any more involved in this world. But it's not coming, doesn't take you completely 100% penetrating inside you. I mean, it's above you. It's the kedusha is there. It just doesn't penetrate within us premiums. But it surrounds you, that kedusha of Hashem from top to bottom. Omar is going back what he mentioned at the beginning of the perek, what from the Yenuka, from the Zoyar. That there's a Shekhinah resting upon your head. We said you need, for the Shekhinah, you need the oil, the supply of oil, which is the supply of oil to keep the light of the Shekhinah. It was Maisa Mitzvahs, but the Lashon over there, Shechinta Sharia al Reisha, al Daika, on his head, above his head. It doesn't go inside his head. And something similar Lashon we have, Akol Be'asar, Asor, Shechinta Sharia. Anytime you have 10 Jews gathering together, there's a Shekhinah over there. So it says over there also, a kol be'asari, meaning on top of them, meaning it does. We don't feel when there is 10 people in the shul. Most people would not feel the Shekhinah b'pnimius. Yeah, meaning it's there, but it's not penetrating to the point that we feel it. Yeah, v'hine kol b'chinas amshochas oira Shekhinah, any level of when the Shekhinah comes down to us, this is the level of the revelation of the light of Hashem, and no nikro shinui chaz v'sholem bois borech. It doesn't do any change in him. V'lo ribui, doesn't add, doesn't increase anything by him. The Isa b'Sanedrin, Amar le'ahu mino, the Rabban Gamliel. What does that mean? Which means apikoires or koifer. Told the Rabban Gamliel, Amrisu kol be'asoro shchinta sharia. You're saying, the Jews saying, when you have 10 people, shchina come, kamo shchinta islechu. We have one God. In every shul, you have 10 people, you have shchina. So how many gods you have? Kamo shchinta islechu. Shivloi, Rabban Gamliel answered him, Moshel me'or hashemesh, nichnas b'chaloines rabim, chulu, v'amaskil yom. He says, when the light of the sun goes inside the house, and it goes inside my house, your house, his house, that means there is many suns we have. There's one sun, and the same light of the sun goes through many homes. There's one God. The light of Hashem, the light of the Shekhinah goes to many minyanim. It doesn't mean there is there is more than one God. There's only one God. Now why the Alter Rebbe brings this over here? I mean, this morning I spoke with my son. I said, that's a side note. What does to do with the topic we're talking about? There's another topic we could talk about. How the Oyer Shechina Mizgala revealed to multiple places, and it's one God. Okay, that's another topic. What does to do over here? So I saw in the Biurim what the question of the Alter Rebbe was originally. What was the accomplishment of the Yeridas Hanashamas Abeinim L'Olam Hazeh? What was the accomplishment of the average man coming to this world if you can never accomplish turning over your animalistic soul, making out of it holy, like a tzaddik? A tzaddik is one in a generation can do that. So what 99.9% of the world doing with their nefesh? So what was the purpose? Coming down and the whole day fighting. No end to this fight. From the day you're born till the end of the day, you just fight with your Yetzirah. And it's good if you fight. Some people give up on the fight. So, but what the accomplishment for those fighters, for the Beidanim, they're the fighters, they're the real true soldiers, true fighters. What's the accomplishment if you never could turn over your nefesh abams? So one of the answers the Alter Rebbe answered now, at least if you don't turn over the essence of nefesh abahamis, but you could elevate your thought, speech, action, your garments. The garments could become holy. Through learning Torah, your garment, your mind become holy. Your mouth is holy. Through doing asiyas mitzvahs, your action, you're a garment of Maisa, and the whole body become, but the garments, become holy, the garment. But the essence, and that's what he says over here, same thing by Oyer Shechina. When it goes all over, it doesn't make any shinu in Hashem, meaning it's just it's just the light of Hashem shining, So, and it doesn't penetrate also inside us. The Shechina, the light of Hashem, doesn't. It's above us. Everything there is some change. It's a change that it doesn't penetrate deep to our essence of our soul, the nefesh abamis.
How far above it?
Oh, meaning it's among us. I call on top, meaning it doesn't penetrate deep. So at least what the Alter Rebbe is saying is basically what the Gemara in Sukkah says: "The fasta meruba lot of fasta." Meaning, you want to accomplish to the avoid of a tzaddik. That's what we didn't come here for. But at least we have. That's going to speak about more accomplishment as we go. But at least one of the things we could do with Taka could make our garments. It's also a big deal. An average person in the world doesn't do that. An average person in the world does not take his garments of thought, speech makes him holy. You could, with avoid, with a strong work, you could turn your thought to become holy, your speech to become holy, and your action. So at least it doesn't penetrate deep inside like the sun doesn't penetrate inside us, and like the Shechin doesn't inside, but at least you could turn the outer layers of the neshama. That's also a kind. You could turn them to be holy. Okay, Rabbi Yisrael, Mr. Shem, we'll see you next time, Motzei Shabbos.